you go. Okay, let's get started with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Red.
We're trying a new device today. It's an AI minute taker, and then the idea is that Sandra can download it and it will magically appear in there. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that's.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a couple. Oh, Jane, go ahead. Do you want to talk about?
Oh, if anyone has anything to say, please.
Yeah. All right. Just a reminder that we are slated to have a joint meeting with the City Council on October 23rd at 7 p.m. and they want to have that here. And the topics for that are listed in the packet. We'll talk about that later. And then our OSBA annual convention in Portland, November 6th through 8th. I don't know that Sandra has received any information about anybody wanting to go. So if you want to attend, let her know so she can get you registered.
Perfect. All right. Did anybody have anything that they needed to point out in the approval of the minutes from last meeting? Oh, I would like to do. I would like to do it.
Would you like the first?
I can just go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. This Jervis School Board, this Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors approves minutes from August 21st, 2025, regular and working sessions.
I second.
Perfect. All in favor?
Aye. Leah, you can either chime in or raise your hand if you're in favor.
We got somebody to talk. Somebody did sign up.
No, they don't.
If there's no public comment, we're running a little ahead of schedule. So I wanted to highlight for you, you have a bag at your seat there. And this is what staff received on their walk to wellness when we walked around the walking path.
Oh.
At each station, there were little goodies there. So we decided we should give you the same goodies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun and it was well received. There were several staff members who didn't go to walking path.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
that's too bad. Well, they found something kind of cool.
Yeah, they did. So anyway, thank you for your service. We appreciate you and we'll be wanting to.
Thank you.
We'll go on to administrative reports. So we have Sarah Bradley here with us tonight. Oh, actually, let's have,
Okay.
so the kids are here. Schedule, so you are actually.
You know, great timing.
Just in time.
So if you can introduce yourself and what role you play on student, if you're in student leadership, and what grade level.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah Morales. I'm senior president and I'm senior. I'm Valeria Campuzano. I'm senior vice president.
And then my name is Madeline Herrera, and I'm the senior secretary.
Perfect.
So what's going on?
Right.
We have technical issues, so we're using our phones.
We tried to print it out, and I printed it out.
So love it.
Okay.
Okay. Clubs. Okay, FFA, I had the pleasure to do a solo trip to the WC Leadership Conference at Washington, D.C. This past summer. I was like the only FFA member that did apply and went, and it was amazing. I learned about the rich culture in Washington, D.C. I participated in their workshop to grow as a leader. And during that week, it was also go to create a living to serve plan to apply, go back in the community and apply it. So I have one in the works. We'll see how well I get it. Cause then you like each everybody has different like goals they want, like either a food drive or like clothing drive. Like so it depends on your community what you need and like, what do you see as more need that you don't have, you lack of. And then I also saw the Simonian Institution and Capitol Library. I saw the Capitol. I low-key did. The only thing I was saying when I was going to the trip, I was gonna go see the blue guys. My goal was to see a panda, and I heard they're seeing the pandas. And I was like, my goal was that my mission on the first day. I put that. That was my goal. Like I wanted to learn it, but it was like I need to see a panda.
And you saw one?
Yeah, I did. I have
Very
pictures.
good. I love
Yeah,
pandas.
yeah.
They're the
And
sweetest
then-
animals.
No, yeah, cause in the Portland, like there's never pandas. And like
You gotta go to China.
and I learned about the history, how like we have an agreement with them, like bringing everything, like how like 2023 our agreement with China like ended. So those two pandas were the cubs. How they stay in Washington D.C. They're residents.
So now we're United States citizens.
Yeah, they're the citizens. We went out, yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, I'm learning history too. So yeah, if they ask me, I'm like, I learned history, guys.
Go. Perfect.
We love history.
I love it. Yeah. And then later this like a week when I came back, oh my god, it got so hot when it was coming up to the Marion County Fair. We had it was a great season for a lot of kids. So there was at least sadly, there were some sad news. We had 7 of the students who didn't make weight. But overall they still like some of them still participate in showing their animals. And later like some of them did get sold. So that it's not such a bad news. They eventually did get sold. So it was like a little postponed. And I had a good this year fair. I won a buckle with Dua for Supreme Dough. And then again, Alex won for Rabbit Supreme. Kobe won breeding, his own breeding, because of Puff. He showed his own like piglets that he raised, and you get banner for your own breed. And he got a banner for that. And then we got hermitship for the rabbits. For other species, we didn't, but we were close. Because we had a duel. For the golden sheep, we share the same area. So sadly, you have to have your own hallway for your own species. Because if you do together, like you can't really say like, how do you know if it's the goat, hermitship, or the sheep? So sadly, I could see how it could be misleading. So sadly, we didn't. But other than that, later that week, we had our state fair. And still, with the heat, it's still clean.
So hot.
Yeah, it was like getting hot. It was like, I swear, tomorrow wasn't like that. And like, it gets hotter and like, oh my god, it was a lot. Cause me and Metzger and like me and Bernie cause Alex only shows for one day for rabbits, so just all 3 of us like in the heat, and like the setting up day, we didn't know there was no gonna be food venue, so we were all hungry. And luckily, Metzger's going back to the bar. Like, we'll pay you. She got us food. We were all hungry because we got so early. Because for decor, you had to get there at 8 a.m. So we got at the bar at 7 to pack everything up and like we were ready. So we were at the Marion County Fair at like 2 or 3 p.m. Like we say that so we're hungry, girl, please.
With no food and water.
Yeah. That day I was yeah.
Eating good all day.
Yeah, and like state fairs on a different level, you have to participate in county fair, and you have to have a like breeding animal or animal like you didn't sell to show it. And we had me, Bernie, we showed goats. I showed breeding doe, so I showed for breeding doe, and Alex showed for rabbits, and we all did good. Alex, he did really good. He got reserve grand champion.
Nice.
Yeah. For
You guys are winning ribbons like schoolhouse stuff.
I know, like we had so much good news. And then like last week we had our tour fest. And it was such a great success over these last 4 days. It was successful. And today we had a meeting. That's why I'm wearing my shirt. I'm like, oh, I'm the secretary this year here at Corn. and it was a success. It was a great first like meeting everybody. There wasn't a lot of people because right now we're in like the big sports season, so only like some, but it was still good. We had who were just getting to know each other, just a nice welcome.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then for oh my god, my phone's not okay. For National Society, they had a meeting today. They were discussing about leadership positions and field trips, community service ideas, and party planning and more. And their first blood drive is scheduled for November 13, and the Inkling has been getting started on their first newspaper after homecoming. So that'll be next month homecoming. So let you know. And then the yearbook crew has been working on focusing a staff spotlight and finding aspects for other yearbooks to like introduce in our yearbook to add more.
Cool. Good job.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh right, oh my god, it's me. Sorry guys. Sorry. Okay, so as you guys know, we had our first home game for football last week, and we brought the community together. Data Vision donated 400 hot dogs for the first people who got here, and we celebrated the ribbon cutting ceremony because we had the new turf and the new stadium lights. So far, we've been on a winning streak, which is great.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we have our next home game. So pink out if anybody wants to go.
Yeah.
And then for volleyball, we've had a total of 7 games, 4 home and 3 away, and we've received 1 win out of those. They've been doing really good. They've still have their spirits high, so that's a good thing. For boys soccer, they played a total of 3 games so far and brought home a victory, and they're still very hard at work. And today, they had a game at 6 o'clock, so right now it's playing against Dayton. For the girls soccer, they had a total of 6 games. While they haven't taken any victories yet, they're also very hard at work and they're pursuing hopefully to get a victory. Today's game was canceled. They had one at 4, but the next game is Tuesday. For the cross country season, they've been really hard at work. They've been doing lots of running and conditioning. They say that they had an awesome season so far, and everyone is either meeting or breaking their PR, so their personal record. And the coach has taken them out to eat because as a reward for all their hard work they've been doing.
What a good coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for our other activities today, we had a guest speaker named Tomas Valles who talked about his life story and how he overcame struggles as a racial minority in a small rural town, McFarland. Have any of you seen the McFarland
Yes.
show?
It's a very good show.
He came in and he also talked about like the movie and how his life was represented in it and how accurate it was. And then we also have evening school. Evening school just got started, and there has been a new policy for the students, which is if a student is failing a class within the first month, they are required to attend evening school until they bring their grade.
Yeah, and it's from 4 to 7.
4 to 7.
Good idea.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
And for college and career, the Gates Scholarship was due this Monday, September 15th at 2 p.m. And our school counselors and our school's college and career counselor, Sofia Ferreira, sent out an email to the qualifying students.
Mhm.
I actually applied for it.
Good job.
And then next Friday, we will be hosting our first Student of the Month assembly of the year 2025 to 2026. And then tomorrow will be the club's assembly to allow students to get involved and join organizations. We hope to get all students to find a club they are interested in and make sure everyone has the opportunity to join an area of interest.
Good job.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So how's the phone thing going at school?
Terrible.
Find it.
Since I don't like, I've not really read the clock, and like I remember how it takes me a while, and I'm like, I'm just looking at it like, hold on, like, I'm almost there, and cause like I can't like instead of I didn't really watch, I'm like, wait, hold on, like,
And a lot of the clocks aren't working.
Yeah.
You kind of have to estimate
Yeah.
what time.
and since no one like could pull their phone, so like you don't know if like you're 10 minutes before class, like you don't know your estimate, they're like, no, we can't leave that. Like, I don't know what time it is.
That's funny. So you have no clocks that are working.
Sometimes, some of the classrooms, yeah.
So maybe we just need to ask maintenance to check on.
Well, a lot of them are electronic. And, I don't know if you're aware, our system is a little outdated. But that will be fun.
Today we had an issue with the computers not working.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, yeah, because we had assignments and they were like, yeah, I'll see you when we turn around.
You guys gonna have to just do everything by paper,
Yeah.
We could.
like I had to use.
I was,
Well, I guess you get one of those, how long are their classes, 45 minutes an hour?
48 minutes, I think.
You need one of those,
50,
how about those
50.
sound things? You need a sound thing.
like, when it's just,
Yeah, just turn it over. When the sand runs out, it's time to go.
That's very true. Yeah, I think a lot of people struggle, like for their phones with music. A lot of people listen to music, and I guess that concentrated them. For me, it wasn't a big deal, but like for my friend, she used to put a lot of music, and so now she just doesn't know how to concentrate.
Well, it's a new world for them to learn.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
oh yeah.
Anything else?
Any questions?
Well, I'm just curious about the turf field when they did the cutting. Did you guys invite Joe O'Connor to that? and stuff like
I
that?
sent him an email, but I did never get a response back. I don't
Okay.
know where
I
it
kind of
is.
thought it would be good for us to send like a letter, a thank you letter with maybe having like football team and the
Sure.
soccer team like
Yeah.
signing it and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you. And was there a lot of excitement? Did you feel like
Yeah.
for
I was running the concession that day, so I could see the game.
uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
I saw people coming in,
Yeah.
like left and right orders. I was like, okay, where's this crowd coming? I was like,
Did
you
you
know,
guys
nachos, you know how to, yes.
give away the 400?
Yeah, I believe so.
All 400 were eaten.
Sadly,
Oh,
no.
No.
No,
Oh,
I don't think so. But people were still asking later. I was like, I'm sorry. They stayed there until as long as we could. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah.
well, now you have some for next day.
Yeah.
Oh, huh? You can sell.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, there you
The
go.
lights are cool though, right?
The-
That's
I
like-
wanted to know about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
was
saw a
pretty cool.
picture. They went on the wow.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, maybe this time you don't have to be stuck in there. You can
I
watch
know.
it.
I was telling like I'm only gonna help you guys for 50 hours. But since I know how to use the digital like cashier and I'm a cashier, like I just know I don't because I work as a job as a cashier. So
Okay.
I'm used to it and like I was like they were
You
like
need to train somebody.
yeah, I would try to train them, but they was like, no, I'm too nervous. And then I got stuck and I was like, oh no.
You gotta mentor someone.
Yeah.
Next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You only got this year left. So
I know.
Somebody else got to pick it up.
Yeah. It was but I know it was a very good win. Like I saw pictures like, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I believe it's 52-8.
Yeah.
Winning streak.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
It's always great to see you guys. Thank you.
You too.
You too. Yeah.
Next is Sarah. So I don't, have you guys met Sarah Bradley? Sarah is, and Beth, you're gonna split up those evenings on the board.
That gives me an opportunity to come. Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to clicker, Sarah?
It was raining the time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for the opportunity to present and then also share some really great things that are happening at Jervis Elementary. So let me get used to this for a moment. Okay, so our priorities or our core values, and I highlighted what I'll be talking about tonight and really leaning in on, and I think the majority of our work the first couple of weeks of school. So thinking about attendance and behavior, that's kind of what I'm going to be sharing some stories about, and then just building connections to support students and families and welcoming them to the new school year. It's always heartwarming for me as a teacher. I taught in West End Wilsonville for like 18 years, and so I spent a lot of time in the classroom, but it's so astonishing. Like kids come, teachers, we prepare feverishly for these kids to come, and then kids come and then all of a sudden we're doing our practices and procedures and routines, and how quickly things get aligned and how quickly learning starts to happen and curriculum comes out, and you walk into classrooms and it's like they've been there for far more than 2 weeks. It's always really impressive with teachers. So I just wanted to share a little bit, speaking about family connection with that lens and building relationships. Our monthly family connection, monthly family connections that we do, and we listed them to invite you, and with the hopes that perhaps in your spare free time, you might want to wander over to Jervis Elementary on one of these nights. They happen once a month, and families come in and students come in, and it's just a really great opportunity to work with kids and families together in the school walls, but a different time, and it has a different feeling to it. And just the bonds that happen between students and families and their teachers and administrators. The idea that family engagement is really important and building those relationships with families. So we are offering those once a month at least. It feels like conferences are coming too. So with that being said, I'm like, actually, we'll be meeting with families a lot more than that. And we just finished with the family. We piloted the family conversations with kindergarten families, where each kindergarten family came in before kindergartners actually started, and our kindergarten teachers sat down with each family and talked about, what their goals were for their kindergartner, any hope, concerns, and then our kindergarten teachers also were able to share with the families what their year might look like too. So it really was a great way for our kindergartners to start their schooling experience. So here I just put a picture of one of our teachers. She's not a new teacher, but she is, it was a behavior specialist last year, and she transitioned into the classroom when we think about teacher connection and how seamless it has been for Barb to come into a first grade classroom and be working with not one-on-one or one-on-3, but one on 18 or 19 or 20. And just the beauty that she has found transitioning from working with small groups to one large classroom and large group. And just, when teachers get down on kids level and really are working with them, one-on-one, but like also almost in that, I don't want to say peer-to-peer, but like level to level. Just the learning that comes about with all the kids at that table being really curious and engaged in what's happening. And then I happened to stop by a classroom, and Bree Seeley was modeling. Teacher models are always really important, when you want the exemplar, you want your kids to know what the goal is. She had her model up there, and then you can see, it looks like it's blocked a little bit here, but there's a student that's so proud of what she's created. She's got her little Mead notebook up there, and she's kind of holding and modeling to the teacher, this. And we most recently were in a PD on Wednesday, and one of the domains in Danielson is 4, and one of the 4A, it talks about self-reflection, and that when we do work and we self-reflect on it, the power and the how we process things a little deeper when we can stop and really self-reflect on it. So you can see her engagement there. You can see her critical thinking. It just was a really great example of engagement I happened to just catch when I was in the classroom. And with that being said, one of the most important things, this was part of the PD, when our whole staff came back, one of the most important things that we do with little kids is we're building with all kids actually, but I work with little kids. So is really building that relationship with student and relationship with family. And MANTS training talks about 8 positive interactions to 1 kind of corrective interaction. And that's really what builds relationship over time. And Brene Brown says, clear is kind. We love her, right? But clear expectations when we're talking about what we actually want kids to be working towards and doing. And with that being said, we have these posters that are on the playground, in the cafeteria, and in our hallways. And we say at Jervis Elementary, be safe, be respectful, and be responsible. And in the beginning of the year, our IAs and our teachers and myself, we pull kids out on the playground. We show them where the posters are located. We go over each what being safe looks like, what being respectful looks like, what being responsible looks like. And teachers also talk to their kids before they go outside on recess. And then sometimes every 6 weeks or so, I feel like an instructional assistant appears in my office and says, they're really struggling with. And so then we go around, the instructional assistant and myself, and we go around to classrooms and we talk about these posters, kind of a refresher. The poster, this one is in our cafeteria, and it talks about just like what it looks like to be safe and be respectful and be responsible in the cafeteria. And the posters are really referenced, so they don't just become wallpaper. It's really something that when a student seems to be struggling with being safe or being respectful or being responsible, we reference the poster, maybe talk, bring the child or group of kids over to the poster and reference it and revisit expectations. So speaking of connections with students and families, when another huge component of that is attendance, and that's been a huge focus of the state of Oregon and therefore Jervis School District, and it's specifically in our strategic plan in goals 1 and 2 and 3. It shows up in goal number 1 as chronic absenteeism as related to SEL, so social and emotional. It shows up in goal number 2 as connecting teachers, teachers connecting with families and students. And then it shows up in goal number 3 is enhancing student engagement. So when kids are engaged and they're excited about what they're learning, they want to come to school. So specifically, we've really leaned in with strategic goal number 2 and connecting with families and really having teachers be the first line of defense, and having them, when a student has been absent for one day, they reach out to the family and they want to know why or what the barriers might be and how we can support. And so there's been some high flyers, frequent flyers, you might call them. So Dusty and myself have been on foot around the neighborhood in the mornings. Those kids that aren't coming to school, we're going around in the neighborhood and we're knocking on their doors. Give them a little time to show up. And then we're, knocking on their doors. And, the first time I did it with Dusty, I'm like, gosh, how long do we wait? How many times do we ring the doorbell? And like, I'm feeling like we're probably waking them up. And Dusty's like, well, good, they should be going to school. So really having an opportunity to connect in an authentic way with families. And one morning, I was like, I could do this. I'm gonna go by myself this time. So I followed the little path that Dusty and I had taken. And, I was on the push for probably not there, and I'm ringing the doorbell and they're not coming, but I can hear the dogs barking. So I'm thinking, well, the more the dog barks, they'll probably wake up the family. And sure enough, mom comes to the door, and I was able to have probably, I don't know how long of the conversation was, but I was able to have a long enough conversation with her and connect with her long enough that her son was kind of hearing in the background what I was saying. And her son last year, I was telling her how when I had the opportunity to work with her son last year, how much he impressed me for how much he actually showed up to school. And so he ended up getting his backpack on and coming to school about an hour later. They had some, he had some health things that he had been kind of working through with the doctor, and we got his health management plan updated at school, and he felt, confident and safe enough to come. But he came about an hour later to school, and he has come every day since. And I wanted to share with you, last year, this student that's going to speak here in just a second had 21 tardies and 37 absences. But this year, his attendance has been perfect thus far. And he was willingly, I told him what I was doing and what my project was, and he willingly did this video for me.
Hi, Ian. What have you learned or realized about the importance of coming to school?
That when you come here, every time you come, like, you learn more and more and more, which you need your brain to be strong, and coming here makes your brain a lot stronger over the years. And if you don't come, you're just missing out on being like stronger in your brain, and it's just better to
just better to come, because Miss Bradley's going to show up on your porch.
I can say save that when we get to the high school.
Yeah. It's just better to come. And it's just the power in caring enough to go out and beat the feet and go out into the neighborhood and knock on doors and stand there long enough, uncomfortably sometimes, until the family opens the door and connecting with the mom in a way that helped her realize the importance of her kiddo coming to school and how much we really want him in school and how he's actually a really amazing leader when he does show up and we need him. And that was motivating enough for her and him to, you know, like I said, get him into school within an hour. So, oh, go ahead.
Have you found when you go make those door knocks and things there, is the parent home most of the time?
Well, his family, yes.
Yeah.
And other families, no. We know specifically one family and we are in close contact with mom and dad.
They're both working. They leave.
Mom and dad are both working. Son is actually, mom gets him up, gets him dressed, and then mom goes to work and dad goes to work and big brother goes to the high school, but he will just hunker down in that home. Now the dogs go crazy and I'm like, you know, gosh, I thought I was like rattling him out of bed. He's out of bed. He's out of bed. He's dressed. He's actually ready to go, but he just ignores the knock. So then we go back to school and we call mom or we call dad, and dad's actually driven. He's a boat rigger in Gladstone, and he's driven from Gladstone all the way back here to get his son
To go to school.
to go to school. So we're just trying to establish a positive pattern and we think we're there. He came today. So yes. So some of these, yes, the majority of the time, well, I shouldn't say the majority. I've done it for three families. 2 out of the 3, mom and a parent, an adult. Someone's been.
So anyway, if the high school kid, he doesn't worry about him, I guess, or?
Mom has said that their relationship is such that it's tumultuous and older son can't kind of get involved with little brother because it creates more of a grind at home. So the high school son also struggled in his previous school with actually attending. So she's just mom's just proud of the older son.
He's going,
for him
yeah,
getting there.
exactly.
And so it's almost like, don't let little brother, if you guys are just going to do this, let me, or, you know, let myself or your father address the other child, and you get yourself to school and we'll work on. So, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
how old is
5th grade.
5th grade?
Yeah, and they literally live right across the street. I mean, we can look at their home and be like,
I like
we're watching you.
the whole people-centric thing is so necessary and you can already see that it works. So I'm
Great.
super grateful
Thank
that you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, Dusty's got really great leadership, and he's been a great mentor for me in that way. And I mean, given me the authority, not the authority, but like the confidence to know that that's okay. You know, because the home is, your home is private, and I kind of think, oh, you know, how long do I stand on this porch, and how many times do I do your ring camera, the doorbell, like 40 buttons, there goes in. Do I look at you know, we really, attendance matters. We're just trying to pluck these kids out of their homes.
I got to know it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It really can. Kind of like when you call me or doing any of those other things. But
But it
thank you for
matters.
doing it
Yeah.
because it matters
It
and
does
that
matter.
connection
Yeah.
works.
Well, with Ian's
So-
family, that showed me that it really does happen
It does.
because he was listening to the conversation I was having with his mom. And then all of a sudden he was ready to go with his backpack. And an hour later, and he's shown up every single day. And I meet him in the hallway and I'm like, I'm so proud of you. Good job. And like, it's so powerful. It's a testimony to connection with families, connection with kids, and letting them know we're going to show up on your doorstep. So you might as well come. Like he said, you just should come. She's showing up anyway. And then just this pledge that Dr. Williams has pledged, has asked for, but also we've challenged our teachers to do the same. And essentially it's connect with families, let them know you're excited that their child is with you for the year, and unite with them, partner with them, and figure out how we can best serve the family and their child, and that goes a really long way. And Jesse says it always ends with reaching for greatness every day, because that's what we do at Jervis Elementary, and we reach for greatness every day.
Okay. Thank you. Great job.
Attendance is high, yeah?
Attendance is better.
I didn't mean attendance, amount of kids from the school.
Yeah,
Because we're 383.
Yeah.
Higher than normal,
it's
yeah.
it's a good number. It's a good place to be. Yeah, to be a bee.
First grade 73, third grade 71, seems like a lot of kids.
Yeah, we budgeted at 900 kids and, sorry, I'm really terrible at multitasking.
You're fine.
And we're at, so today 9:15. So our senior class is large, our junior class is large. We've got a couple of small class, like sophomore class is a little small, but we're definitely growing. We're one of the few districts that is continuing to have more students than we are projecting. So
That's a good one.
it's a good problem to have.
Yes,
We'd like to have it more.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tony.
No,
I'm
you're fine.
again struggling.
You're totally fine.
Where did it go?
I'm not seeing it across the top.
Well, I don't
So
know.
while she's looking, I have to say, the
Looking
three
around.
young ladies that were here, they were my last class for teaching.
Oh,
Amazing group. That senior class is an amazing group.
was cool,
And
but
those
you-
three kids, I remember those students sitting in my classroom, right as middle schoolers. And yeah, great
It's
kids.
cool that she
Uh,
can go to Washington DC.
Yeah, two very, very quiet in middle school.
Yeah.
She's come out of her shell. Yeah. But yeah, great class. It's a great class.
Okay, Tony.
All right.
Found it. Hold on.
It's okay.
And then do you want the clicker?
Yeah, you're okay.
Okay. I'll just move this stupid thing around as you. tell me. Okay.
So I just decided to kind of throw pictures in and then talk a little bit. So it's only like 10 pictures, so it's going to be really quick. So these pictures were taken the first day of school. So on the left, we were packed in there. We're now at 215 students, up from 204 in June. So that's a nice increase. I overheard an 8th grader a couple days later go, "What is going on? This place is packed. Where are all these kids coming from?" I literally had to go around at a couple points. Kids that were sitting there were not eating. I was like, "I'm sorry to do this. Can you guys stand up and go over here and talk so we can have these kids come and sit down and eat?" Good problem to have. The first week, all the kids were eating in here. We now have the library and then 2 teachers that have voluntarily opened their classrooms at lunchtime. So kids can bring their lunch in. It's a quieter space. It's not so crowded. It's not nuts in the gym. So they can hang out there and talk and play games and stuff. So we have passes made for them. The kids have to have passes to leave the cafeteria. So that has alleviated some of the.
how many
crowding.
actually fit in the cafeteria?
I don't know, but we had like 215 and there was not enough room for everybody to sit. There's a left corner that you don't see that has like what do I want to say, like a bar stand that you stand at. And there's easily a good 15, 20 kids that stand over there. So definitely next year, and we've already talked about this, it's gonna be fun scheduling it. We're gonna have to have probably 2 lunch times.
What time does that mean they're eating lunch? Because then the high
Yeah.
school comes in and then they eat.
Well, next year we'll have our own.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, good. Like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, couldn't do it now. And in fact, Wednesdays is kind of ugly. We're eating lunch at 10:30 in the morning. So it's kind of rich. But we have to do that because the students leave at 1.
Right.
To be able to get the high schoolers in. And then this is, I call them the toys. You can see in the far back in the corner, that's the air hockey table and that's the foosball table. Again, this was the first day of school, so the kids were really excited to be.
Where are those
playing
at?
that. Those are in the corner in the gym. There's also a
okay.
ping pong table. There's also, I don't know what you call it, the timed basketball thing that they can play against each other. There's also, if you know, Connect 4 game, we have a large one. I wish the kids would be playing that more. They really don't play that. Last year they seemed to, but not this year. But there's a group that seemed to consistently go and play these games. So yeah. So we're still doing the pause that we did last year. So it always starts out slow. So we had one all staff meeting a week ago, and these 2 gentlemen, the top one, that's Rudy Silva, who's one of the coaches, an IA. And he wasn't very happy with me at first, and that seems to be happening a lot this year. He wasn't very happy with me, but I moved him from the gym to the front because of the what do I want to say, the fence coming around. We used to have the kids walk through and then come through where the used to be the 8th grade area used to be. The kids would walk through that and go to the gym. Well, they can't do that now, so we have to open the front doors. They have to come through the school. So Rudy is the greeter, and he is amazing at that. And in fact, he just told me yesterday, he was like, Tony, I will do this all year. I love being out there. And he's great. He's patting him on the back. And also the high schoolers are walking by and they're shaking hands with him. He's welcoming them. He's a great addition. Zabala got one because we have it's not fun at the beginning of the year where they have to go through the handbook and they go through the district and they go through the technology thing. And so he was kind enough to staple all 3 of them together so that we didn't have to do that. So he got a pop from Sasha in the office. Thank you for doing this for me. This is the students. So changed it. This is positively outstanding. So all the little stickers are students that have received something for doing something good, kind. Several of those, which this is a cool thing, and I'm going to start investigating. They do a diagnostic at the beginning for iReady to see where they are mathematically and in reading compared to at the end of last year. And we've had several kids that have had a jump. In fact, I had a young man come in who I know was summer school, who got a 50-point jump in his reading. Wow. And he is an ELD kid. 50-point jump in reading. So what I want to do is once we get all those scores in, is I want to compare the summer list to those jump in scores. Because usually you see them either kind of steady or maybe even drop a little bit because of that summer is, I don't want to say negatively because it's great, but why are we getting those jumps? What are we doing to get those jumps so we can continue that? Yeah. And how many of those are summer school? Mm-hmm. So this is, I do a theme every year. So this year's theme is Your Education, Your Future. Really trying to push those kids to take responsibility in the school for their education, for their learning, that it really does affect their future, especially in middle school, set you up for success in high school, which sets you up for your adulthood, your life. Mm-hmm. New update. So last year we did our own Jervis Middle School mission statement and vision statement. We did not have one before this. The highlighted part is what was added. So the vision statement had promoting mature self-advocating, but we also added it on or above grade level students. We're really pushing that it's great that you're working hard, keep working hard, but we need you to be on above grade level so that you're successful in high school. Doesn't do you any good to be working really hard and we're passing on 3rd and 4th grade level readers to high school because they're not going to be successful. So we added that for our vision statement. Intervention classes started this year, so I just kind of took some pictures. So this is the one on the left with Ms. Lopez. She is our 6th grade language arts, so those are all 6th graders. And then on the right, we have one class, and that's why it's so packed. This is a mixed 7th, 8th grade language arts class taught by Mr. Fenner. So these are students that were struggling, and we based this on the OSAS, the state test. These were students that either were the same or a little higher in math, that it was language arts that they were struggling more in. So this is their intervention class that they are doing. This is the intervention classes because we have more of them because we're struggling a little more in math than we are in language arts. So the one on the left, this is Kristen Kamat. She is our learning specialist. She is our SPED teacher. This year she is teaching intervention 6th grade math. She's an amazing math teacher. I've heard that for years, and a couple times I've been in there. Boy, I agree. So you can see that she has a student up there. There is literally an algebraic couple questions up there. The student comes up, answers it, and then you can see here, and the kids love this. These are expo markers. The kids are doing the problems here on their table. And then they're volunteering to go up and then explain how they're getting their answers. On the right, this is, and I wanted a picture of this. The teacher came to me afterwards and like, we're doing iReady. And I said, well, I want to show the school board that that is where our iReady is taking place now. It's not taking place in the regular language arts and math classrooms because I've shortened those times. We are doing it in our intervention classes. So even if you're in a math intervention class, once a week you do 30 minutes of iReady for math, but you also do 30 minutes of iReady for language arts. So that's where they're getting it. And then the other 3 days are helping them in just math or language arts. So this is the challenge intervention. These are the students, and I have 2 of them. This is the students that pass either on or above grade level in both their reading and their math classes. So they don't need to be able to get help with reading and math. They're doing great. So we want to push them even farther. So these 2 classes, this 2 on the left, and they're mixed, by the way, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. It was total, like, how does it fit in their schedule? One is 5th period and one is 6th period. So these on the left, they are doing, remember it was really popular, that bottle flip thing? You have water in it, you flip it, see, can you get the bottle to land on its base? That's basically what they're doing. Different shapes of bottles, different amounts of water in it. They have it on the computer. And you can see the one young man in the middle, he's measuring it. Do I have it half full? Do I have it? And how is it flipping? The one on the right, and I have the assignment right there. He is talking to them about looking at the internet and looking to see when you look at information, is it legitimate information or is it not legitimate? And so he showed a couple examples. One was a NASA thing that he used. Okay, it's NASA, it says government. Yeah, we can trust this information. The next one was like aliens built pyramids. Joe Schmo wrote it. So how do you pick out when you're doing these research projects, doing these things? How do you know what to trust and what not to trust? Yeah. And this is something, I don't know if Dandy even knows this. So I made a flag. I had a flag made. We just have, right now we have it on a stand, but this is exactly what it looks like. Home of the Wolverines, Jervis Middle School. We are Jervis, pretty good size. It's, yeah, probably about the size of the flag in the corner. It's going to be used, we're trying to get the spirit going in the school. So every first Friday of the month, we have spirit assemblies. So the first one, and I talked to Aloha about this, I said, if the staff doesn't want to do it, you and I will do it. We're going to come running in, flying the flag and be in spirit. And then I have on my phone, I have an app for noise. And so we're going to have a cheer that they're going to be doing. And let's say you guys are the 6th grade class and you cheer the loudest. So what you're going to do is that for the next month of October, and this is a big deal for middle school, for the month of October, you get to leave, you 6th graders get to leave 5 minutes early for lunch and go out to recess. So you get all the balls, you get the equipment, the toys, at the cost of a penny. Okay, they get 5 more minutes, and 7th and 8th, it's so sad, you have to stay in the cafeteria. So, and then the next month, we're gonna have 7th and 8th sitting there, and then the 6th graders are gonna come running in with the flag. Knock on wood, but this, and then also we want to use it for like sporting events. We have the flag out for volleyball, soccer, to be flying it. This was one, I'm going to take credit for this. This is one that I picked for a couple of reasons. One, I liked it, but if you look at our logo, this is very similar to our logo. The hill. So the hill, yeah. So I liked it, and it had that, and yeah. So, and right now it's hanging right by the door as you come in the office, like that. And I think that's it. Awesome. So that's what's happening in the store. Yay. So thank you guys.
So let someone record you guys.
Yeah.
Coming in with the
Yeah. Aloha was like, I don't think our staff's going to do it. I said, then you and I will do it. We'll have them be like, oh, Miss Johnson, and we'll come running in with it. We'll make fools of ourselves. It's okay. All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sarah, did you survive?
Survive.
I have to say some exciting things.
Good.
I worked for the OFES booth.
I never have anything like that.
With Jenny, it was fun. It was a lot of
Was
fun.
it
And in
popular?
fact, the girls that were sitting here worked in my booth. with
Oh,
us. And then the next night I had two of them return in and they're like, we'll see you at the board meeting. That was a lot of fun.
Did they
Didn't
make
get
good
many
money?
chances to be, well, I haven't finalized everything because I don't know what their bills were as far as the product, but I know that sales were down
No.
from last year because we had more startup cash and every day we started with startup cash and that went in the bank. And so I just compared deposits and about 500 less overall because, you know, and so that
Was it a
startup
lot of
is,
people?
what OFES said is that we need a different product. Really.
Oh.
And so they were, I
What
guess,
were you selling? Oh.
we sell nachos, like you can have regular nachos or loaded nachos, and then we have Polish dogs. The only reason we started the Polish dogs last year is because they kept posting old info in their flyer saying that we were having Polish dogs. So we felt like we had to have Polish dogs.
Oh, I see.
But the Polish dogs do pretty well in comparison maybe to the nachos. So
Although it didn't help that supposedly we were in the spot that the great fish taco place was last
Yeah.
year. So every that came was like, fish taco? Yeah, no, we don't have fish taco.
we wish we had fish tacos. We don't have any fish tacos. So that was, yeah. So anyway, we're having an after meeting with us and we're going to talk about next year.
Different menu.
Different menu. When we got that food truck. And so
Yeah.
I think we can have that now. Like, we're gonna work a way to have that there and not the beer.
and we got a lot of questions about our booth because we weren't serving out of it. No door windows were closed. The door was open on the sidewalk side and people would go, what are you serving here? We're like, we're serving over there. This is our new food truck. And we just had to explain that they didn't allow us because it doesn't have a Bavarian look to it, obviously.
Oh.
It's very vibrant. But I've heard some really good ideas for how to mask that. Because originally I think we were thinking like a wood built facade from wood shop. But you see how tall that thing is. You're like, that's going to be really hard. So they're saying like you do kind of a magnetic hooks and drop down like a tarp that has been, designed.
Yeah.
And then it's so something like that. And then we just push and it comes off easily, goes on and
Maybe the cougar in a.
Yeah, later.
Good idea.
I think it's Sarah Ursula on that.
yeah. But I think we can do something that
turtle,
works well.
right? We could put the Wolverine in a turtle.
Anyway, well, last week our auditors were here. They spent a day here gathering things and letting us know they have a whole lot more they want. So we're trying to work on that. Really have a goal of getting this process of the audit done before December, because it always feels like that's right up on my, time I want to take off at Christmas time. And it's really don't like that. So I'm really working hard on that. Anyway, so the information that was in your board packet was, I couldn't get the 25-26 information. They didn't have it all set up yet in Frontline. So I had just done some kind of comparison looks at, 23-24 versus 24-25. And I took it by major fund, which you don't normally see. So like on page 31, I did the general fund. And then 32 was special revenue funds. And the 33 was debt service. And you'll see that just on the bottom ending fund balance, it ended 23-24 at 74,000. And you'll see the forecast for 24-25 is 300, but there still is a PERS bond payment that needs to be processed on paper. So it will be about what it is there. And then capital projects on page 34, you'll see 23-24, we had nothing because this is our first year using this in a lot of years. So, and you'll see that big forecast of that 29 million because we have that's where, big hunk of money sits is in this capital projects fund. But I'm going to move on to the extra little set of pages that I put, they should be in the bottom of your packet of things. Like I said in the board report that I would have the 25-26 data for you. So we did get all of that worked out with Frontline. And so if you want to just flip to the first page, this is the report I usually show you with the general fund revenues. And if you go to the bottom of the page, in the current year-to-date amount, you'll see a big difference between general fund revenues the previous year, year-to-date, and the current year-to-date. That's because we don't have any beginning fund balances rolled in yet. Once they were rolled in, it's going to look more like about 6.1 million, somewhere in there, once that happens. And you'll see up in that bar graph too, there's nothing there for 25, 26, because we have no, under all other sources, we have no beginning fund balance entered yet. I'd like to do it one time and not have to make corrections, so I'm kind of waiting until their entry's done. All right, and then the next page are the expenditures. And I think the only thing that I kind of, will point you to is down over under other expenditures, you see transfers. I've already put in some transfers because our athletics wants to see what they have to spend. And so, we got some of the transfers done when normally they're not done by this time, a little bit later. And then the next page is kind of the one that I'm always the most, focused on, is that financial projection. And so right now for 25, 26, with very little data, but kind of looking at what our budget is and, how things have gone in prior years, they're projecting the ending fund balance to end at about 1.28 million. So it's going to be that figure we're going to keep looking at each month. And we know that it is a tight budget this year, and we are really looking at everything very closely and moderating spending very closely. So things that we maybe didn't care so much about, we're asking questions and say, do you really need this? You have, asking a lot of questions.
That's okay.
Yes, was it yesterday? Yesterday that we got the SIA and his success patient updates. We took another $23,000 hit on that.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
it's difficult to try to plan anything when every month you turn around and you're getting mailed. So everything is on hold. We're gonna get through payroll, which is next week.
Yeah.
And then Karen and I will work through the month of October and make sure that we are dialed with the rest of our budget.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did hear Garrett got funded. So
Yes.
that's a win.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
that's
that's
a
good.
help.
Yeah.
We would not have had money in the general fund to cover that position if it had not been funded.
Right.
Was that a 2-year originally?
It's a
Yeah.
5-year.
Oh, it was 5-year?
Yeah.
Oh,
100,000
that's awesome.
each year.
Mhm.
I mean,
Didn't even-
ideally, they kind of said with Gear Up, it's kind of a plan where you're slowly taking the staff figure and moving more towards somewhere else, not the Gear Up. But we've had a reality check with them and they understand,
Yeah.
the staff salary keeps going up. So it's really
Right.
hard to do that with that. And so we're just working what we have. And they do seem to give us some other mini grants through Gear Up too. And, we had our presenter at the start of the year funded by that. And a lot of our staff went on and did some travels and went to some other events or some other trainings because of it. So it's nice because we don't have money in budget this year for
Right,
it. But if
exactly.
we can get it through Gear Up, we'll take it that way. So I don't know if there were any questions. This last page there, the one where I always show you this graphic of that, it's pretty basic because you only are looking at over year-round admin managers and office managers are the only staff within this. When we include September data, we should see a little more of a variance. So
Great.
Okay.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Okay, Scott Rose is not here tonight, so I have the following information updates for you. I know it's slated to be in our discussion section, so I can cover that in a little while. The annual report for the bond advisory committee is actually not ready yet, so we just had our bond advisory committee meeting last Wednesday. Kyle hasn't had a chance to get everything put together in a format, so you'll get that in October.
just real quick on that.
Yeah.
I know you told me the date, but I didn't get a email from Scott or anything, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so maybe, because and I looked on both my email, well, at work, I see that more than I want
Okay.
to. But the one at school, after I got it all figured out, anyway, so I felt bad, I missed that game.
Okay,
Well,
I
my
will,
fault.
let Kyle and Sutton. Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. We, did the groundbreaking, that night, and there were people there other than the bond advisory committee. I mean, there were people, members of the public there, so that was nice, and there was some good pictures, and it's very exciting, so, they're gonna start breaking ground next week, and it's gonna be loud. So, it is what it is.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
good.
so, you'll see dirt flying starting next week, probably.
And that's during the day for when school kids are in school.
The loudest part of the project will be they have to drill these these round holes where you have to put, it's like, I don't know what the diameter of that is,
Right.
but then, and it goes like 20 or 25 feet down. And so they, have to pound in to get that hole, and then they fill it with rock and compress it.
Compress that.
And there's probably, I think, 20 of those. And that has to happen because of the soil over there that they supposedly, if you put all of those pilings in, when Cascadia happens, it won't liquefy. So, it's very loud. And so that will take about 2.5 weeks. That will be the worst part of the project. And so I have sent an email to everyone, just telling them sorry.
Yes.
And sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The end result is gonna be
Yeah.
beautiful.
So that's what I told you.
And it's about 2 weeks.
2.5 weeks, depending on what's happening. We really want to get this going before the weather turns.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's gonna be a mud fest out there.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's exciting. Things are happening there. Your joint city council meeting, school board meeting, those are the topics again. I haven't touched base with Rick since we kind of set those topics, so we can adjust that as we get closer to that time if you want. The rest of my report is in the rest of the agenda, so there's no questions. I'll stop.
More focus. Does anybody have anything they would like to talk about?
Other than that, the lights was pretty cool. That was pretty neat thing to watch. And I'm assuming everybody liked it and things there.
Yeah, they liked it. There was some complaining about the sound system. Because we don't have a new sound system.
Right.
And so they couldn't hear very well.
Yeah, Ben's not that good to listen to.
There's a light show that goes with music software that's not set up yet. So, we're trying to figure out like how much is the sound system going to cost.
Right.
There's going to be a second phase that I come and ask you. So I just wanted to have lights at your field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a huge accomplishment. In my opinion.
They're actually
100%.
super
I-
pumped
I-
about it.
It's really cool. So I really, so anyway,
Yeah, I'm happy.
me too. And it looks like our ball team is playing as well as as good as the field looks. They're playing that well.
Yeah.
So.
And we were not really expecting to have a boys soccer team, and when school started, they all came out.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it.
I get to play on that.
No, it's not a new coach. Yeah, and they're beginning to play their games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Soccer.
they had
That was nice.
I came up here. So.
No rolled ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they go for
yeah,
it.
yeah, go for it all.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Well, I would like to talk about the last city council meeting for winter. And come up. And I'm actually kind of just talking about it also to talk about a joint meeting in October. I attended the city council meeting, and I will just say I had a mix of emotions of what happened and took place. I was quite disappointed in the display of facial expressions, emotions that I felt were towards the school district.
So why do you think that is?
I
I couldn't see that, what you guys are seeing. You could tell that when you came up there and things there, it was like, they didn't even care. It was like, what, well, this is the whole point of this dang meeting, isn't it? And things there, and so, it was very confusing from watching from that, and I can imagine from you guys sitting there with the, anyway, so.
Well, that went from asking questions, wanting more information, and then saying, well, we want a motion that we need more info, to then all of a sudden motioning something beyond what was even on the table.
Yeah.
What was on the table was to extend the asphalt. What was voted upon and decided was to do the whole sidewalk and bike path.
Yeah, so I wasn't there. I had an appointment, but Maria did watch the entire
Oh, was
thing
she on
as
there?
well. And
Mhm.
so I know
It was
like, who were
confusing.
watching. There was
Yeah.
a lot of confusion. I don't know how we went from 100,000 to like 500,000 on like this entire thing. So it just was so bizarre to me for having the outcome that it did from where we went in.
Sure.
Like, so if somebody can explain that to me, that might help me wrap my head around it as well.
I don't know if they could do that.
So when we went into the presentation, so it was myself and Sam from 3J, who's an engineering person.
The gentleman that was there,
Yeah, that was sitting next to
sitting
me.
next to you.
Mhm. And so our appeal was on the 2-foot increase of the shoulder that they wanted us to put in. That 2 feet of increased shoulder, we knew going into that meeting, it was gonna be at least 150,000.
Okay.
And we had not had time to get all of the other soft costs, kind of the numbers like street closure, flagging, permitting.
Yeah, it was a rough.
It was a rough estimate of around 150, but plus these other things that we didn't know yet. And Sam pointed that out in his PowerPoint that we gave hard copies to. And it's 150 plus these other soft costs. And so we talked about the costs not being like part of the bond plan. I think also part of what was like lost in all of the chaos there is that when we came up with this bond number, we didn't just pick some random number.
Right.
Like we had our architects and our engineers look at all of the projects. And in those costs, they build in, hey, at the middle school, you're definitely gonna need to do a lot of site improvement. Sidewalks, drainage, curbs, like we know, extra entries. We believe, based on our experience and what other cities do, that what's happening at the other 2 schools are not gonna require those kinds of hefty site improvement. So that went into what our number was when we went to ask for the voters. And I think what's important for you to know as well is that at every step of the process, when we are running into problems with the city, your engineers and your architects are making comments like, this is not standard. This is not industry standard.
Correct.
This is not how people operate. And so it is very challenging trying to get anything done. So then Mr. Geddes asked some questions about number of parking spots. I wanted an answer right then. We knew it was going to be overall fewer parking spots total. But I said, well, yes, there are more parking spots at the middle school. But what he didn't let me finish was, and we've reduced spots at the high school. So between the 2 areas, there are fewer parking spots than there are now.
But from that, his whole point was, we're gonna be bringing in so much more traffic that we need the safety of this lane.
So then we argued, one of the contracted service, that was Holly, from Willamette Valley Council of Governments, said that this project would be on par with what a resident would pay if you were having to put sidewalks around your house. To which we rebutted, no, that's not true. We have to pay prevailing wage, and it's like
Everybody knows that.
And then her additional argument in her paperwork was that, well, why the school was constructed in 1965, it should have had a sidewalk there to begin with.
So should a sidewalk be in front of my house as well?
And our argument was, we have no idea what the conversations were in 1965. Perhaps they didn't want a sidewalk there going out to the highway.
Right.
And if we were to apply 2025 standards to a 1965 project, we wouldn't even put a high school there
Right.
in this day and age. You would never put a school right there.
No.
So, we also argued that the Safe Routes to School report that we commissioned together did not identify that area needing to have any kind of improvements for safe routes, because it's kind of a blind spot. You don't want people going towards a highway. Cars come in really fast, both directions on that highway, you know, coming from the north or the south. And you have an appropriate sidewalk on the other side that is clear, you can see people, and that the only thing they talked about is improving the sidewalk from the middle school side of Douglas over to like the Dollar General side, which we've already done. They did that. And so the rebuttal to that from the city staff was that they felt our number was high, so they totally scoffed at our number. They did not believe the statement we made that already we have kids that kind of launch off. They cut across the parking lot, they go through the little dip, and sometimes their parents will pull up, and so they hop in the car, head out. Or the kids, because they're trying to get to Dollar General quickly, will run across, dart across. Like that, why, if you create a more accessible space, they are going to use it inappropriately. The council didn't buy that. They said, well, then that's why you should might need to have a full sidewalk.
Which is so silly, because it's a sidewalk, again, that stops at nowhere, because Fiber Fab's building has nothing. So we're leading them then into unsafe roads, which leads to loading ramps, which then leads to the highway. And I wouldn't want any kid crossing at the highway over the Dollar General.
They continue to point out that it's not just about kids, it's about pedestrians overall and the community overall.
That was.
Pedestrian connectivity.
Yes, and it made no sense because.
And
Who's
so,
usually over there writing?
so then,
There's no logic.
trying to like replay everything that happened. So then they went to close the public hearing. And that is when, after they closed the public hearing, no more comments can be made, nothing else can happen, except a conversation amongst the city councilors. And Mr. Geddes turned to the attorney and said, can I go ahead and make a motion requiring full sidewalks? And the attorney said, you can make any motion you want. So they made the motion they didn't even rule on our appeal.
No.
Did not rule on the appeal. And made the motion to require full installation of sidewalks, curbs, gutters. Prior to that conversation happening, when we were trying to argue against the 2-foot shoulder, we said, like, most cities don't want you in a tree area. Like, you're gonna go under the drip line. You could be impacting roots. You're also gonna require us to add more ground there because it's sloped. So once you pave asphalt, now it's gonna start cracking as the years go on. Like, you're just creating a mess that is not easily to maintain.
So the environmental factors were not considered.
They
at all.
didn't care. The one city council said, just cut the trees down.
Well, actually, before that, it was, whose responsibility are the trees? Is it the cities or is it the schools?
There you go.
It's ours.
Same difference with if we put the path down, who's responsible for the signage? The city or the school? That's not a combined workmanship here.
So then one council member asked, well, we're a city of trees, do those trees count? And someone said, no, they don't. I'm like, every tree counts in the city of trees.
What?
I don't understand. Like, the thing that makes you a city of trees is that you celebrate Arbor Day and that you have a tree plan, which they don't have, and that you have a tree committee. And in this case, it's the city council is the tree committee. It has nothing to do with the actual trees. So, so then that's when the council says, well, we don't care, just cut these trees. And so that was before the public comments stopped. or the public hearing was closed. And so then Mr. Geddes said, let's make a motion. They made the motion. It passed 4-1. And so, and they did not take any input from us. They did not ask the city staff any questions. They have no idea that now the figures that we have coming in for the sidewalk is $500,000.
That's where I was like shocked that we went from 150,000 to 500 with the complete thing at the end. That's where, okay, so nothing came from the appeal of the recourse, and then they went and made a motion for that. What can we do from this?
So,
What's the
on
next
your
move?
agenda has been revised. We're going to go into executive session to talk about options. But basically what I will share right here in public forum is that you have, so when an appeal doesn't go the way a person wants it, then you can go take the another appeal to the land use board, which is a state level board.
Oh, good.
And so I've talked to an attorney and we'll discuss what the attorney said in executive session. At the same time, so, you know, we only have 12 working days to file the appeal. And this is also what really frustrated me is that the city gave us the report last Friday. And sorry, it's not 12 working days, it's 12 calendar days. So they gave it to us on a Friday afternoon, which then started the clock ticking. And so 4 of my 12 days are on weekends. Where they could have just held the report until Monday. And that would have started the clock ticking. So that's, for me, that's really frustrating.
Yeah.
So in speaking with some other people about this, you know, if we're going to have to go with the $500,000 project, we do not have contingency built into the budget to do that. And so it is going to mean we're going to have to not meet some of our bond promises. And so we are doing a survey. We're going to put out a survey to the community, sharing what has happened, and then let them know that they can pick options: a sidewalk and no improvements to these classrooms, a sidewalk and no HVAC, or I want you to work with the city. I don't want a sidewalk and we want the bond promise met. Other options, you know, give us other options, and long answer. Tell us what you prefer. The city council has the ability at any time to call a meeting and revisit their decision.
Okay, that's what I want. I feel like we almost need to, this is so ridiculous. It's like, I don't know who our rep is anymore. Tracy Kramer used to be for
It's
District 22.
Leslie Munoz.
Okay, can we get a face-to-face meeting? Can we call on that? Can we like get some other form of folks coming in and like actually from the outside seeing how ludicrous this is and how challenging it is for our students who are already living in an underserved community? And we've made such strides, and $500,000 to put on the table to take away from our kids from everything that we've been doing is absolutely asinine. And I just don't, we have to figure out what those other recourses are. And giving the community the opportunity. Of course, the people that you're going to hear from are the ones that are already on Facebook complaining about the resource officer. I need more than that. We didn't have enough folks that came and talked. Or, you know, I know there are, because I talked to people about it and then I didn't have the opportunity to go. But it's almost like, I like the fact that they can revisit it, but I almost feel like we need some more like, I don't know, we need more help than what we have right now. And that's why I'm suggesting that we actually call in some reinforcements.
The great thing about this timing is that We just have to file by October 2nd, and then it will take months for the land use board to hear it. And so we have time then to approach it from several different avenues. And so, but it is gonna be more than just me going and shaking my fist at the city council. It's gonna have to be a full court press.
Let's say, because I'm assuming we're moving on with other stuff that has to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Things that, so, does that have, let's say, we're pretty close to the end and things there, and we just can't, and things are we gonna have to put things on delay to make sure that we have that money to make those darn sidewalks, or do we just use our monies and then say,
They won't give us a final occupancy permit on one middle school.
the city sidewalk? Okay, so, but at that point, is that gonna be the last part of our?
That's
or-
our plan, is that we want to make that the very last thing we do.
Right, so that, okay, so everything
so-
else will get done.
Well,
Well, I mean, so we're gonna have to make some.
Yeah.
As far
and
as,
I'm not, so we've already value engineered the middle school, right? Like, we've already done everything
Yeah.
we can to the middle school to make it functional, come in a little bit under budget, to make up for things that are coming in over budget at the elementary school. And so because the city is requiring this improvement at the high school, I think it's appropriate that we only look at the high school. Because, you know, there's major infrastructure things at the elementary school that you can't really, like, I mean, I guess I could not do the HVAC and then no air conditioning in the elementary school, so we get out the sidewalk to nowhere. No. So, I'm hoping, you know, our plan is to get the survey out, by next week, early next week. Give us a week and a half to get some data collected. My plan is to go back to the city council on October 2nd. And during public comment time, I'm gonna present them with additional information that they didn't know about when they made this new motion and passed it. And I'm gonna ask them to reconsider their decision. I'm gonna reach out to other people to come to the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, but I guess
I'm putting it.
it's that survey, how long do you think that you have to have it out there for people that maybe?
We'll get it out by next week, no
I don't know,
problem.
but as far as, how long will you, I guess?
Oh, leave it open?
Leave it open. and
Yeah,
things like-
I'll leave it open for a couple weeks.
And you're doing social media and flyers
Mailing. Mhm,
and both?
mhm.
No, that's great, especially that Facebook thing, because that's where everybody's riled up about this.
But everybody will get that. And you know, that could be another piece, you know, where I know, Ani, you brought up the school resource officer. So again, like, I'm not responding to any of that stuff on social media. The city is not interested in learning any of the facts about what all transpired. They broke their contract and violated it in terms of not having 6 cops on staff. They were supposed to have 6 cops on staff. The officer was not in the building. We are not paying for services that we didn't get. We've already talked about that. And the other piece is, it's illogical. If prior to us getting the school resource officer grant, we were giving the city $20,000 a year for the service we had with 5 officers, why would I give them even $43,000 for the service we had with 3?
No, it never makes sense.
We are good stewards of the money, and they don't come to the table. So I don't have time, frankly, to continue to try to get them to the table. At the same time, they still aren't paying us their excise tax. They
Yeah.
collect a tax and they don't distribute it. So
That's why the upcoming meeting that we're having, I'm just kind of like,
My recommendation is that we postpone that. I don't feel like
What
the attitude that I received there
100%.
was not one that seems like we're gonna come together and work on things for the best of this community. And so I don't really think anything productive is going to come from that.
there's some crazy history happening here, and then what's happening is they're using whatever their perspective or experience was in the past that ever happened here with the school, and then they're actually bringing that into our relationships here, and it's just, we cannot do that. That is not okay. And I'm just trying to figure out what there is for recourse on something like that, because that's very vindictive to go from 100,000 like that to 500,000 and then just go like it's right in the proof is right there. So what I'm saying is like, I'm trying to figure out in my mind, like, what is the recourse where that can be,
Right.
you know,
No, I
like,
just,
we know why it's happening. It's not okay.
I understand, but it's like, like I said, they didn't even rule on what the meeting was for.
Right.
They didn't do a darn thing about that. And then all of a sudden, just to disregard that.
Yeah.
And then,
Create our
no more talk. And I want to find out if I can do this. And you knew, at that point, it was almost like there was premeditated.
Well, I mean, to go from that number and then blanket that, that's what I'm saying. It was like, it's
Well, no,
worse
we
than
went
had
up
not
to the
even
one.
gone.
And they thought it was gonna be should be way less than that, like ours was too high.
I know.
And then now we're saying it's gonna be even more.
It made no sense, so. All right.
Okay, yeah, anyway, what we need to figure out our solutions from
Yeah,
here.
no,
So,
100%, but unfortunately, it's not like they want to talk. They
and
want to dictate.
so that really does worry me about the upcoming meeting, about whether or not that's gonna be productive at all. I mean, it's up.
Do you want me to tell Rick that we would like to postpone it to a later date?
I feel so, I feel like, you know, we need our other board members to like weigh in on that as well, because that's, I just don't think with all of the tension and the heightened issues that are happening right now, that anything productive is gonna come from that. And
No,
that request was from them, correct? Yeah.
So I could carry this decision over to the next board meeting
Yes.
when I believe everyone will be here. That is a week out from the joint session. We'll have gone to this October 2nd city council meeting.
And
and see
everyone
kind
should,
of what the feedback is.
yeah, and the whole board should be there for that if possible.
Yeah.
If anybody can, I already have it on my calendar right now. We should all be there.
Okay. All right. Anything else for board focus?
No, Alex, opposite. I think that was enough.
You're on the consent.
Did anybody have anything on the consent item? The Jervis District Number 1 Board of Directors approves the consent items listed in 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5.
Wait a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Leah, are you there? You could raise your hand if you're in favor of the consent agenda.
So I've been raising my hand. Can you hear me?
I can,
Oh,
we
I
can
think she
hear you.
just made her hand raised.
I'm only across the field from you guys. I have a birthday. I have a first game. I'm sorry. I sincerely I am on the call. I've been raising my hand of acknowledgement. Just saying. But
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't see your hand.
I know,
I know. I don't know. I tried to like chat or just to even say, okay, yes.
Yeah.
So,
I should just. I know. I guess I should just.
So for your consideration, I put together, based on the feedback of the last meeting, both the school board goals and then my goals to support the board and the strategic plan. So I've highlighted the standards that you wanted to focus on. And then I tied them to each of the at least one of the goals in the strategic plan. And then also talked about what would it look like for the board if you're working towards achieving these goals. So for instance, if we're looking at community engagement, that goes along with goal 1 and 2 of the strategic plan. And you would celebrate contributions of family, staff, and partners to school improvement. So like we're sending a thank you note to Joe, inclusive practices, strengthening advocacy with city, county, and state leaders, or, you know, soliciting incorporate community input. So each of those standards have your goal and then how you would apply that.
Yeah, it looks good.
And then my goals are all tied to everything you're doing and the strategic plan. So if you're good, then
Read the little
do a
motion.
motion.
They move their school district number one, board of directors adopts the superintendent and board goals as shown in agenda item 09-25-8-1.
We have a second?
I have, yes, second.
All in favor?
All right.
Hi.
Aye.
I raised my
Okay.
hand, but I.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, just bond update. So you have 3 handouts. You have the new community connections that should be being mailed out early next week. We're getting it translated. It was basically just a summary of all of the things that we presented to the bond advisory committee meeting last week. One thing I will share is that the bond advisory people were very complimentary of what we've done as a staff, and including the people we've hired to help us with this. They feel like it's good communication. They understand the budget. They understand the nuances of the projects. And what 2 of them said is, whatever we do, it's important that we are not band-aiding anything. So if you run into a project where, oh, wow, this is going to cost us more than we thought, we do not want you to not fix it if it means we have to maybe do some other things on other projects. So, which makes sense, right? So if we know that there's a mechanical system at the high school that, well, technically could last another 5 years, well, no, let's just go ahead and fix it and make it last 15 years.
That makes sense.
So, this is what's getting mailed out to the whole community. And then the next packet that started with elementary school roof and ceiling upgrades. This was presented by your contractors. So you can see, what's been done. The bond advisory committee really liked the new ceilings at the elementary school.
They
They
look
were so
great.
especially excited
They
about
look
the one
great.
room that had the big plaster crack with plywood
Yeah.
protecting the children. So it does look really nice, and the teachers love the new lighting in
I
there.
like new lighting
It
in
was
there.
really great.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
very learner friendly, not just glaring stuff that gives you a headache at the end. So, so all of the roofing is almost done. So that's a win. There should be no leaks.
At both.
Yes. There should be no leaks. The other thing we're working on is this consent to vacate right of way. It's a 2-pager. So if you look on the page that has the map, you're gonna see that there's this little pink rectangle right in the middle of this map here. And unbeknownst to everyone, there is an alley that runs right through the middle of the elementary school that anybody could drive a car through or walk down if you wanted to. So we have to ask the surrounding properties to agree that they don't want to use that alleyway that runs through the building anymore. So we have to get a consent from the people that are on this paper. And, but we only have to do a percentage. Of course, the property that we own can't count towards the percentage. And the city Rick has said that he doesn't believe he can sign away any rights for the city. So we're not going to ask them. And so I have Dusty out knocking on doors, and he's almost got every signature that he needs.
He does?
Yeah.
I could
Good.
even get this for my house.
I can help you with that. I know someone.
Like I've tried 3 different times.
Yeah.
I can't, way to go, Dusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, wonderful. So anyway, that's just another fun project that we're working on. Because we needed that.
We need one more.
We needed one more. I was like, what? There's an alley right in the middle of the elementary building? Where? Yes. There's a driveway. Come in. Right dinner. So, and then of course we talked about the development of the sidewalk. So that's all I have about the bond. Are there any questions? About the bond? Okay. And then you have a bunch of policies for first reading. So again, they're at the beginning of the policy updates is just the general information packet that kind of highlights each of the policies and why they're changing. There are some that,
You gonna take care of that? Okay, good.
need some water here? Oh, not water. There are some where I'm not sure we need to adopt the optional update because I'm not sure that it really helps the district with that. And so I wanted to highlight what those are.
The budget committee one.
So, well, that's law. We have to do that. So, so when they passed the law about the equity committees, they made it a board committee, which means that you had to take notes, you had to notice it, you had to keep the minutes, the agenda, like just like a regular board. Then they realized, well, that was not what they really intended it to be. They wanted it to be a superintendent committee that, like what we have now, our access committee is the equity committee that then reports to the board. Like I direct them, but they report to you about how their progress is. And, so that's why they've changed the language on the committee. It doesn't have to be, all of this special public meeting law and notification. It's just much simpler. But it's still, if you have an opening on your budget committee, you have to ask one of the members of your access committee if they want to be on the budget committee. The piece that we need to add on the access committee, and I haven't had a chance to talk with Dusty and Andrew who are in charge of that committee, is how do we include student voice on that? But I think they go to their leadership kids anytime they're looking at something. So I'm gonna just double check on that process. And then I'll report back to you on what that is. So I can't see, there are some school boards that do include a student on the budget committee, not as a voting member, but as just an honorary
That's cool.
viewer.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we can start learning.
you could look at that. I don't know if we have any budget committee openings right now. I'm just gonna check with Karen as we get into that. So if you don't have any openings, you're not gonna have anybody from the advisory committee on here from access, so. Okay, so, we are having a reading again of BHD, which is page 55 of your packet. You had said no to the stipends.
Yeah, this is the one that I was wondering about, because I would like to make sure that whoever comes on board
Mhm.
isn't actually gonna get a stipend, and that we have some sort of policy in place
Mhm.
for that, so that we continue to have the money coming in for the
Mhm.
scholarships.
Okay.
So that was my concern, and I didn't really. So I basically don't want to adopt what they have.
Mhm.
So, but I obviously want to hear from the rest of the board on what their thoughts are.
And again, this is an optional policy. You don't have to have this policy, so we could just decide, yeah, we've had the first reading. No, thank you. We're done.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, it's unnecessary, especially we have a very small school. So I'm not so concerned. I just want to make sure that we have something, if there's like at least some sort of addendum, so that we know that.
What your intention was.
Yeah.
Okay, I can work on that.
This comes out of general fund?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean,
No, I mean, it can cause some stuff that I
Right,
just
we
really
don't need that. We don't need anything else.
so, you have a budget, and the board has a budget that we used to pay for conferences, like if you go to SBA or anything like that, and the meals. So, I feel like as long as you keep a budget line, we'd always keep a line item for you. We can craft a policy that says this, like more a philosophical, so like, we don't believe that it's appropriate for our board to be collecting,
Yes.
so I can work out.
perfect. Thank you so much. Candy.
Yeah. Okay.
Some of these are optional now.
Yeah.
Where did that come about?
Well, because they're, most of your required policies are really grounded in those areas that are gonna get you sued, for like some kind of discrimination or violation of civil rights. Okay, curriculum, probably not such a hotbed. It can be though. And so, I personally do not care for the optional policy that they're proposing, which is why I included the policy we have right now. So the policy we have right now is page 64 of your packet. And the optional policy is listed on page 63. I felt like the last paragraph in the optional policy made me uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you are covered in terms of what the board role is and how we choose our curriculum and how we get feedback in the current policy.
I agree.
Mhm.
And I don't, on my end, I do not want to talk.
Unless I can get some golf instruction of some sort added to the curriculum.
I will try. It's math. It's angles.
It is math. On geometry. is
Applied.
Yeah, especially for us duffers, you know, trees and any kind of rocks. And
Well, there won't be any trees. Okay, so that was all that I wanted to point out on the first reading policies.
Thank you for doing that, because those were all the ones that I,
Sure.
you already
Think
got to
alike.
before I even had to say anything. And since this was just first read, we don't have to do anything, especially want to make sure Maria had an opportunity to look.
So what I'll do for the next board meeting is I will put in a document the ones that the board that was here said, hey, we're not interested in the first, beyond a first read. So that then you can discuss it with everyone and then you can take, I want there to be action on it that you all agree or whatever it was.
That's perfect.
We read these policies, we're open now and moving on. Okay.
That one's really good.
Okay.
Do we need to make a motion on this one that, do we,
Sorry. Is this open discussion or no? Sorry, I
Yeah.
don't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead,
Go
Leah.
ahead, Leah.
Can you hear us?
can you hear me now?
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry, is this open discussion or did I interrupt you?
No, you can talk.
Okay, perfect. Do I have a bone to pick about the flow of the drop off?
Well, drop off
Actually,
at
like-
school or middle school.
Yeah, in the middle school, between the middle school and the high school. Was that discussed in was it like, who thought of this?
You mean the way it is now?
Yes.
Because of the construction stuff and things you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
And sorry, if we did discuss this earlier, it was cutting out, so I really apologize. I'm so sorry.
No, I think that we just left that to the administrators to figure that out.
Leah, do you have a concern or a suggestion about what's happening with that? Because we had our discussion time and this is great for you to bring it up since you may not have heard it.
I do think it's a concern. Would I like it to be reevaluated? Yes. It's very congested of what is going on now. I just wish it would be reevaluated, and that's it. I'll leave it at that.
I agree, because I had to come and trade cars with my wife one day, and it came at a bad time, because it was time during when everybody was leaving and things, and now you have to come in and you have to turn into the middle school, whether you go in high school or not. You have to go through the middle school parking lot, come back out, wait there because, you got buses and kids coming, and then you can go on. One thing I did like about it, Leah, is that before um, when you came there during, kids were leaving and going and things there, it would get a little chaotic because kids that are coming, that are parked on the north side of the parking lot would want to come out that side over there. And then you'd have people coming in and middle school customers, parents going that way. And then I found it was different, but I found the flow a little bit easier than before. And now with the construction, I don't know what else they can do, quite
We don't
honestly.
really have room.
Yeah.
Too much of it.
I don't know how other than, because Mr. Amon was out there and Tony was out there with cones, and I came pulling in and I didn't know what was going on. Thank goodness that Mr. Amon was there, because he said, got to go that way, got to go that way. And I'm thinking, hey, wait, I'm not going to middle school. I need to go over here because I need to go pick up the wife's car. Anyway, so.
And once it becomes more,
So like with the after school, okay, yes. For the morning, I feel like morning is really an easy ritual. You drive in and you
Yeah. Try to get
after
it.
school, I guess and after school I can't speak because I don't have to pick up.
So yeah, you have drop off duties.
The morning it was it's conundrum. It really is a conundrum, and I've been hearing it on my side of people, not people, well, the people saying that this is not efficient, not effective, and they don't like it.
Is there a solution that maybe they suggested, Leah?
No. Do I have a solution? Yes. But if is it another meeting? Probably.
No, please share with us. We're in the discussion item, since you may have missed that part. So we'd like to hear that if you have a second.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What I suggest is if you drive in from the long side from FiberFab you can't, sorry. Okay. If we all come in, going through the middle school, I'm waiting for the middle school to drop off my kid.
So you're coming in from 99? Did we lose you?
Leah, are you there?
Did we lose you?
I could ask you to just email me right.
Yeah.
Phone call.
Leah, with the technical problems, let's table this, and then if you could maybe email Dandy, that would be great.
Oh, I can do that.
That sound good?
Oh, perfect. Yep.
All right, let's do that.
Phone tomorrow, Leah. If you have time tomorrow morning, you could call me.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so two things I neglected. So Mr. Amon and Doug could not be here tonight, so there's no high school report. But you have the kids there.
Yeah. The kids
The
are fun.
kids were fabulous. And then we have revised the agenda to be able to go into executive session. And so there is some language there to take us there. And then when we come out, there could be a possible action made. So it's entirely up to you guys. So
Okay, so this
on the back.
So we'll end the meeting and then go into the executive and then come out.
ending this meeting, heading into executive.
But you have to read what we're going into executive session for. From the
Do
back.
we have a wording for that
It is like.
on this one?
Oh, perfect. The Jervis School District number 1, the Jervis School District number 1 School Board, Jervis, Oregon, will hold an executive session, ORS 192.6602F. Exempt public records at the district office conference room on Thursday, September the 18th, immediately following the regular session. Regular session ending.
Definitely. Start.
So let me stop recording.